Hi, and welcome back to Yoga with Tim. I'm Tim, and today I'm here with my friend Jessica. She teaches locally, and you can find her on Instagram. Her Instagram is @rootandreach, which that's loosely based off of our teacher training, kind of from the Yoga Works. Yeah, talked about that a lot. Okay, so welcome to the channel today, and today we're going to focus on working on core and leg strength while we practice. So let's begin lying down on the back. We'll take a block in between the thighs. And place your block way up by your groin so you can feel your inner thighs against the block. So we went over this a few weeks ago, but how we activate the legs in the pose will really help with our posture and our ability to access the core because we're standing on our feet. So let's learn here on the back how we should be accessing the legs. First, make sure that your toes are pointed straight ahead. As you squeeze in on the block, at the same time, press your upper arm down and your shoulder head down to the floor. Then press down into the four corners of your feet, and as you exhale, start to lift your hips up. Now just notice, as you're holding here in this up position, which muscles are turning on. You want to feel first that as you squeeze in on the block and your inner thighs feel even on the block, that you can feel your butt muscle squeeze towards the back of your knee. As you feel the butt muscle squeeze to the back of the knee, instead of squeezing into each other, then also contract your hamstrings. So try to make the space between the butt and the back of the knee shorter. Then at the same time, press your shoulder heads down and then see if from the butt and hamstring squeeze you could lift up 1 more inch while elongating. Lengthen your hips out of your back and lengthen the back of the skull away from the hips. Then slowly with control, as you inhale, lower yourself back down, tap the buttock back down to the floor, and as you exhale, press into your feet and lift back up. We're gonna go up and down. Each time you lift up, I want you to pause and make the mind-body connection between the glutes and the hamstrings. Feel those turn on, feel the squeeze, then roll the shoulders, get the length in the spine, and slowly lower yourself back down as you breathe in. Exhale, come back up. Feel the four corners of the feet press down, squeeze in with the inner thighs, grip the buttocks back in the knee while the groins release down, press your shoulder heads down, and slowly lower back down. 3 more times. Exhale to lift up. In your mind's eye, visualize those muscles contracting, the spine getting longer, the chest opening. Inhale back down. 2 more times now. Exhale to come up. Hold, make the mind-body connection at the top. And lower back down. Last one, lift up and hold. Pause here. Okay, nice. Now lower your butt back down. Move the block to the side. And now we're gonna try to activate those same muscles without the block. So block made it easy to keep the thighs in neutral. Now I want you to see if you can keep the same feeling. As you exhale, press into your feet and lift up. Okay, good. Now we're gonna make it more challenging because we're gonna be like transferring around a lot, standing on one leg. So we should start to integrate that. As you press down into your left foot, bring your right leg up into tabletop, but try not to let your body twist. Now you're gonna have to use your core, transverse abdominis, rector spinae, turn on the spine, make it long. Now as you inhale, slowly lower your buttocks so it's 1 inch above the floor, but keep that knee up. And then as you exhale, lift right back up. But keep the feeling with your thighs like you're squeezing the block again. Inhale to lower down, so just a little bit harder than we practiced a few weeks ago, kicking it up. Exhale, come back up. Feel the shoulders open. Don't let the shoulders crunch in. Inhale to lower down. Exhale to lift back up. Good, hold there. Press the right foot down into the mat and bring your left leg up into tabletop position. Still keep that feeling like you're squeezed in. Don't let the thighs swing out. As you inhale, slowly lower. Exhale, press back up. Open up the front of the shoulders, press the back of the shoulders down. Inhale to lower slowly. Exhale to come back up. Inhale to lower slowly. Exhale to come back up. Then press that left foot down into the mat now. Hold there and then lift up 1 more inch. Recreate the feeling like you're holding the block. Turn on the glutes, hamstrings, get even longer. and then slowly lower your buttock back down. Good job. Now stretch your legs out along the floor like mountain pose legs. And as you press out through the four corners of your feet, feel your thigh bones descend like someone was sitting on them for you. Keep the left thigh descending as you bring your right knee into your chest. Bring your hands to the leg and start to guide the leg closer towards you. But at the same time, make half of your awareness focusing on releasing the left leg down and lengthening it, as the other half is focusing on bringing the leg towards you. Then stretch your right leg out. Change legs as you descend your right thigh, bring the left knee in towards you. Grow the right leg longer and descend the thigh. Then hug both knees into your chest and roll yourself up to seated. Come onto your hands and your knees. Take cat-cow for 3 rounds. Round your back first and look back at your navel as you exhale. As you breathe in, tip the sit bones up. Let your upper back start to go into a back bend. Roll the chest open. Do that 2 more times with your breath. Feel the hands open up and pressing into the mat. Then come into a neutral spine once you finish your third one and hold there. As you press into your inner hands, lift up on the inner shoulder and open it. Then stretch your right leg back into a plank position. So press down through the big toe and spin the inner thigh so the knee is pointing straight down. Now I want you to engage the glute just like you were doing in the butt lifts on your back. So firm the buttock towards the back of the knee. Feel the belly turn on when you do that. Now lift your back leg 1 inch from the squeeze of your butt. So it's a little different than when you normally do it. If you do that well, it should stabilize your core. Your middle shouldn't sink when you do it. Then from that strength in your core, take your left arm forward. So this is like basic 101, but if you can integrate it here, it will start to change your posture, how you hold yourself, if you're doing it really well and making the mind-muscle connection. Lower your hand and your knee back down. Change sides, stretch just the left leg back, press down through the big toe, turn the thigh into neutral, and then before you lift the leg up, I want you to feel that glute, hamstring engaged, turn on the leg, and then lift the leg up 1 inch, but from the firming of your glute, your buttock. If you did it well, you'll feel your belly turn on to support your lumbar, then take the right arm forward without leaning side to side. Oh, that's pretty good. Now feel your spine get even longer. That's part of your core muscles too, to be able to elongate the neutral spine and lower yourself back down. Now let's try to move the arm and the leg simultaneously. As you inhale, reach it out. Feel that glute turn on, the belly lift up. Exhale, lower it back down. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, lower down. Good, now stretch back into downward dog. So in downward dog, I want you to imagine that you're holding that block in between your thighs again. You'll turn the thighs into neutral. Your toes point straight ahead, the heels point straight back. Then imagine that you're being lifted from the front of your thighs up into your hips. Draw the skin of the thigh bones up towards your hips. And at the same time, keep reaching into your inner hands as you lift up on the inner shoulder and wrap the outer shoulders down. Then walk your feet all the way forward to the front of your mat. Now put a little bend in your knees. And as you inhale, bring your hands up to the heads of your shins, press into the heads of the shins, but press into the hands with the shins at the same time. Now I want you to feel both of your buttock muscles start to turn on as you scoop up your belly and engage your lats, your back muscles. Reach your heart forward, get even longer. Then as you exhale, fold deeper. Slide your hands down, head down, let it all go. As you inhale, slide your hands up your shins, press into them, feel each of the buttock muscles engage, and then scoop up your belly, get even longer, feel how it helps, and then slide your hands back down. So when you come up, I want you to feel those leg muscles turn on at that halfway point to bring you all the way up. So press down into your feet, feel the legs turn on, come all the way up and feel the glutes turn on to help you come all the way up right now. Stand up in mountain, but from the strong legs. Raise your arms up overhead, and then bring your arms to your side. So as we go through the salutation, each time you come up, you can turn on the backs of the legs. They'll get stronger and they'll help to support your posture and your spine. They'll help to keep your back healthy if you can focus on that. As you inhale, take your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Let's do the hands up on the shins again. Inhale, slide the hands up on the shins, make the mind-body connection, then plant your hands and step back into plank pose, one leg at a time. Good, as you hold in your plank pose, inner hand, lift up on the inner shoulder, and then turn on your legs. So let me see this pose, it's a whole body pose. You're not just hanging into your hands. Work both legs just like we were doing on hands and knees. And then as you activate the glutes, feel your belly lift up and your heart start to open. Now maintaining that, raise your right leg up. Try not to let yourself sink or twist. Change legs, raise your left leg up. Set that foot down and stretch back into downward facing dog. Then lie down onto your belly and let's wake up the back muscles so that we can do some salutations. Stretch your arms all the way forward first. Press the tops of the feet and let me see the legs like the thighs were holding the block again. Turn on your glutes without the groins hardening down, still hug in with the inner thigh. Then bend your elbows back in a cactus position, lift the shoulders, head, chest up off the mat, but look down and make the back of the neck long. Then stretch your arms all the way back behind you. Keep engaging the back of the arm muscles so that the front of the shoulders and the chest are opening. And as you firm the buttocks, feel the belly draw up, get even longer. Then place your hands right next to your side ribs, roll up into up dog, but keep the activity in the back of the shoulder so the chest stays open. So again, working that shoulder connection that we learned a few weeks ago. If you didn't practice those videos, I'm going to link those below so you do them. Downward dog, stretch back. Good. Again, as you reach down into the space between your big toe mound, second toe mound, start to plug up on those thighs, like you're drawing the skin from above the knee up into your hip crease. And you can do that even if you work with bent knees, if you're someone who's tighter. You can still create that action of drawing up. Walk your feet all the way forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back, elongate. Exhale, fold forward. Now press your feet through the floor, and as you come up, feel your strong glutes turn on to raise you all the way up. And exhale, Samastiti. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a flat back. Step back into plank pose. Then your call. Hold in the plank or take a vinyasa, lower to chaturanga, keeping the shoulder heads open. Upward facing dog, inhale. Downward dog, exhale. If you were just holding in plank, now stretch back to dog. Now from down dog, shift into plank and pull your right knee up to your chest. As you inhale, slide the knee down towards the floor and make a flat back. Exhale, slide back up, pull up in your middle. One more time, inhale, slide the knee down towards the floor. Exhale, slide it back up and step your foot up by your thumb all the way up. Now feel your left thigh rotate into neutral, back leg strong like the plank leg. Your right outer hip turns on so that your knee can stay pointing straight ahead. Without the right knee caving in, now lift up from your belly and come all the way up into crescent. That was really good. If you want to see how to do that well, just rewind that. Okay, so keep that back leg strong, the inner thigh lifting, and then the buttock firming isn't going to be as aggressive as what you're doing on your back, but just keep the memory of the buttock moving out of the back towards the knee on the back leg. That will help you to get more lift through the front of your pelvis, especially if you have like a really tight psoas. Working the back leg connection will help you to create more space through the front of the hip, especially for those of you who have to sit in a desk all day or a car, or you have to drive to LA 3 times a week. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Step back into plank pose. Chest open, heart open. Now turn on your legs, make it a whole body pose. Turn on your core, then shift forward and lower to elbow height with the legs strong. Lift back up and pull your left knee up to your chest. Now remember, you can always practice that with knees down. If you need to practice the chaturanga, keeping the shoulders, slowly lower your left knee. Let it hover an inch above the floor. And as you exhale, pull it back up. Lift up in your middle. Inhale, slowly lower. Heart open, blades on the back. Exhale, pull it back up. Lift up a little higher and step your foot all the way up by your thumb. Good. As you come up on your fingertips, find that back leg. Turn on the left outer hip enough to stabilize the leg in its position. Then from your strong core, come right up through the middle. Feel the glute turn on to help to lift you up to the front of the pelvis. If you feel a sticky spot, be with it and breathe. Don't try to jam past it. So if you have to angle yourself forward just a little bit to help to get into the space of the front of the hip, that's fine too. Then bring your hands back down to the mat. Step back into plank pose. Good, let's turn on the legs, squeeze in on the block, firm the glutes, navel up, heart open, then shift forward and lower to elbow height. Remember, you can always do it knees down. Press straight back up, downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose. Bend your knees, sit your hips back. Get the weight into your heels, strong in your legs. Then press the floor down and come all the way up to stand. Release your arms. Inhale into chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back and lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot for warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Hold in your dog, plug the thighs up, draw the hips up and away from your wrist, and keep reaching into your inner hands. Grow that line longer from your hips to your inner hands. Bend your knees and look forward. Step or float up lightly to the front, and inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into chair pose, bend your knees, sit back. Press the floor down with your feet and come all the way up to stand with your strong core. Inhale into chair pose, one more time. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, chaturanga, step back and lower slow with the legs turned on, the core turned on. Upward dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Step your right foot for warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Then from your down dog, step your right foot up by your right thumb and turn your back heel down for warrior two. As you hold in warrior two, press down through the four corners of your feet, and then draw from your inner legs all the way up through your spine, up into your heart. Let the heart lift and the chest spread through the reach of the arms. Then bring your right forearm onto your thigh, tip your hip out over your leg, and take your left arm all the way over. On your back leg, focus that back leg, reach the back thigh bone back towards your back ankle, but then at the same time, move the buttock towards the back of the knee, towards the heel. Draw the energy from the back leg up your spine. Press down through your feet and come back up into warrior two. Straighten your right leg for triangle. Push the inner foot down, but turn the thigh all the way out and then reach out. Keep your right side waist long as you go to put your hand. Sorry, you want one of these? I'm hoarding the blocks over here. Good, so as you hold in triangle, focus inward on your breath and visualize your breath moving all the way down into the bottom of your lungs. And as you do that, feel where you can make micro adjustments to free up space. So one of the great things about asana practice when done meditatively, you can start to open up and deepen your pranayama practice, your breathing meditation practice, just through the way that you're practicing the asana. Also, this will start to develop a level of concentration in your practice that is really desirable to help with your meditation. Press to your feet, and as you inhale, come back up. Bend your right knee. Bring your hands to the mat. Step back into down dog or add a vinyasa, your call. If you're working on upper body strength, do that chaturanga up dog. Otherwise, just glide right back to down dog. Step your left foot up by your left thumb and turn your back heel down. Warrior two. Press down into the four corners of your feet and then draw energy up through your legs, up through your spine, lift your heart, spread your chest. Feel that your pelvic roots release down evenly. Then tip from your hips out over your leg, bring your forearm onto your thigh, and take your right arm all the way over. Yeah. Then press down into your feet, and as you inhale, come back up. Press your left inner foot down, straighten your left leg, and reach into triangle pose. Keep your left side ribs long as you go to reach out, and keep that rotation in your thigh. Feel the work of the back leg. So as you turn your left thigh out, your left outer hip will come back in and under you, but then make sure that your right thigh isn't hanging forward. Lengthen through the back thigh bone, back towards your back ankle, and then feel your buttock firm towards the back heel. Draw that energy up your leg now, up through your spine. Press into your feet. Inhale, come back up. Bend your knee. Then circle your hands to the mat and step back into down dog or take a vinyasa. Step your right foot for warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Then straighten your right leg. Bring your hands behind your back. Press your knuckles together in your upper back, or if you can take reverse prayer hands, you're welcome to do that. Adjust your back foot closer if needed. Then roll your shoulder heads back and open up across your chest. As you exhale, start to fold forward halfway out over your leg. Good, now pause here in that half position and make sure that your shoulder blades are on your back. You're feeling your back muscles turn on, those same muscles that were helping to lift you off the floor at the beginning. And that's what's helping to keep the front of the spine long. Keep the even press in your feet. Now draw the navel up the front of the spine as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, take all that length deep into the forward fold. Keep an energetic reach through your back leg, through your back heel. Then inhale into a flat back, stretch your arms straight back behind you. Come up high enough so you could feel that your blades come onto your back, those back muscles turn on. Now lean into the right foot, lift the back heel up. Strong right outer hip is gonna stabilize the pelvis. Lean into that foot and start to raise your back leg. Now feel the thighs, imagine they were hugging a block, so the thighs rotate into neutral, inward slightly. And then as you squeeze in, feel that left buttock turn on so that you can lift the back leg, just like we practice on hands and knees. Same exact thing. Then, without your left foot touching the floor, come up to stand. Bring your knee up, raise your arms up, squeeze in with the thighs like they're holding the block again. Find the neutral rotation. Feel your pelvis is in neutral, so the pubic bone, tailbone are aiming straight down. Now see if you can stretch your left leg straight out in front of you. Don't let the buns tuck under though. Keep those strong leg muscles helping to support your pelvic and spine length. Good, now bend your right knee and wrap your left leg up and over. Cross your left elbow under for eagle. Then uncross your arms and your legs and stand in mountain pose. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Squat down for crow pose. Two more breaths. Then step or float back, make your way back to down dog, through vinyasa or not, your call. Step your left foot for warrior one. Inhale, come up. Bring the hands behind your back, take reverse prayer, or just press your knuckles together in your upper back, straighten your left leg and adjust the back foot closer if needed. Now inhale, open up your shoulders, your chest. And as you exhale, start to lengthen out into the halfway position. Important that you find that halfway position because we're gonna have to return to it. So as you hold here, reach through your feet, all four corners of your feet, but especially keep this drive through your back leg, the reach through the back leg, and your back muscles turned on. Now take a breath in, feel your navel scoop up the front of your spine. And then as you exhale, take all that energy and move the whole back of the spine forward and down evenly. As you hold in the pose and practice your conscious breathing, feel where you can make micro adjustments so that there's a better energy flow through your body, so your lungs can expand better. Where are you overdoing? Where are you lacking stability? You're underdoing. You might need to press, reach a little better through the feet. Inhale, come back up into the flat back position and stretch your arms straight back behind you. So now make sure you're high enough where you get a long line of your spine. Like I could put a broomstick on your spine and it would lay perfectly. Then shift into the left foot, your left outer hip turns on as you raise the back leg up. Keep your hip bones level to the floor. And now feel that right glute turn on to support your spine. As the glute turns on, your belly draws up, all the way up towards your heart. And then squeeze in like you're holding the block again with the thighs. So those inner fronts of the thighs roll in towards each other. Good, now without your right foot touching the floor, come up to stand. Bring your knee up. Raise your arms up. Hug in like you're holding the block. Pubic bone, tailbone reach down evenly. Then stretch your legs straight out in front of you without your butt tucking. Bend your left knee, wrap your right leg up and over, and cross your right elbow under. Hold here for 5 breaths. Uncross your arms and your legs. Stand tall, mountain pose. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Squat down for crow pose round 2 or practice your malasana for 5 breaths. Oh dang, you're getting the second crow, Jessica? You're intense. Chaturanga, step or float back. Good, now from down dog, look in between your hands and hop to seated. Sit with your legs stretched straight out in front of you in Dandasana. Good, so let your thigh bones release down towards the floor. And as you press into your hands, let's start to activate the back muscles to help to open up the chest. So we're gonna start with the arms. Push the inner hand down, roll the inner shoulder up and back. And as you do that, you'll feel your blades plug onto your back. So this is a great pose to teach the arms for up dog, and also how the arms, the activity of the arms can help to open up our chest and activate the thoracic spine. Okay, don't forget that, we're gonna use that later. Now take your arms straight out in front of you, lean your torso back about halfway, slide your heels towards you, and then use your abs to scoop up your knees in tabletop position. Hold here in boat pose. Then lower slow into low boat pose. Come back up into boat pose. Good, put your feet down, hands a foot behind you. Now lift your heart up towards the ceiling, roll your shoulders open. Hold here for 5 breaths, or as you push into the feet, start to lift your hips up. Now keep that activity in the arms that we worked on in Dandasana. Inner hands, roll inner shoulders. If it's too much on your shoulder, just keep the hips a little lower. And then slowly lower your butt back down. Navasana, bring your knees up, arms forward. Ardha Navasana, lower slowly. Come back up into Navasana. Reverse plank, put your hands a foot behind you. Lift your heart, roll your shoulders open, then lift your hips up. As you push down into your feet, squeeze in like you're holding the block again, and then squeeze the glutes and come up. Come on, turn those shoulders, lift your heart. Good, lower your butt back down. Last round, knees up, arms forward. Lower into Ardha Navasana. Now bring your legs straight up to the ceiling and lower your head down. We're going to do Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, which is Sanskrit for hell. We're gonna do hell right now. No, leg lifts. Hands down at your side. So get the shoulder heads to ground again to release towards the floor. Now, Jessica has a lot of hamstring flexibility. You might not. Your legs might be shaking aggressively to try to keep them up in this position. You could just bend your knees in this one. That's fine. So with bent knees or with straight legs, lower your thigh bones away from you a third of the way and pause there. Can you activate the spine again? So your hips reach out of your back, the neck is long, shoulder heads open, and the low abs engage. Then lower your legs another third of the way. Firm your butt out of your lower back so the low abs grip in, and then see if you can lower a little bit further, maintaining that action so your lower back stays long. Then bring your legs straight back up from your strong abs. Good, 5 more times. Lower slowly a third of the way. Lower another third of the way. See if you can go a little bit lower, explore it, but keep the abs in, shoulders open, and exhale back up. Lower a third of the way. Lower another third of the way. See if you can go a little bit lower, keeping those low abs squeezing in, and back up. Lower a third of the way. Lower another third of the way. See if you can go a little lower. Grip the abs and come back up. Last one, lower a third of the way. Lower another third of the way. See if you can go a little bit lower. Grip abs, come back up. Last part, low abs. Tuck the pubic bone into the chest, bring your hands behind your head, and then push the butt straight up and hold. Lower it back down. One more time, tuck pubic bone into chest. This time, push up even better. Push that butt up, push the feet up, and now crunch up to your knees and hold for 5, 4, squeeze in the legs. 3, tuck the pubic bone even more, push straight up. 2, you have to do this voice when you're doing the hard one, and slowly lower back down. Good. And lower your feet down. Oh my gosh. Good. Take your feet the width of your mat and let your knees swivel over to the right. Little stretch for the hip flexors. Change sides, swivel the knees to the left. Good. Come back to center. Hug your knees to your chest. Roll yourself up to seated. Pick up and float back into chaturanga or just step back into down dog. Whatever you feel energetically like you'd like to do right now. It's cool with me. Okay. Then from your down dog, lie down on your belly. Point your toes back. Inhale into cobra. Good. Now set up that inner hand shoulder connection from Dandasana and then start to roll up into up dog. Nice. Now to get just a little more shoulder articulation, I want you to sink into it a little. Like let your shoulders come up by your ears a little. It's a big no-no. Then roll the front of the shoulder up and back. And now as you push into your inner hand, start to lift out of it, but still keep that rotation in your shoulder. Burrow the inner borders of the blades, bottom inner corners of the blades into the back. Lift up through the back of your skull, and then press the back of your skull back a little bit like it's against the headrest in a car. Now, as the thighs turn in, squeeze in, and then move the buttock towards the heels and feel a lift come through the front of your pelvis. And then lower back down onto your belly. It's really intense, I know, but this pose is a pose that needs to be mastered before advanced back bending, which a lot of you have been asking about, and it's on the conscious movement version of today's video. So you can click the link below to check that out. Downward dog, stretch back. Better not forget all these links. Write a note down. Okay, from here, are you a single leg pigeon person? Do you like the single leg pigeon? Mm-hmm. Okay, from here we're gonna come into the single leg pigeon. So you bring your right shin up. Now this pose can be kind of gnarly for people with with knee situations. It might be a little aggressive. So if that's the case, you can just cross your legs and fold forward, or you can lie down on your back and do ankle to knee, like that situation. But otherwise, this is going to be a great pose to help to educate in the upright variation. We're going to educate this back leg hip to open up for up dog. Now you're going to need that for all the advanced back bends. So if you can't find it here in up dog, you're not quite ready to be doing advanced back bends. So what's going to happen with the back leg? It's the same actions that we've been doing. The thigh rotates into neutral, so the knee points straight down. The buttock moves out of the lower back, in and down, but not as aggressively as when we were having to squeeze it to lift the whole body up. Just enough so you can create a lift right up here through the front of the pelvis up into your chest. And then we can work those same actions with the shoulders and the back of the head to help to bring the thoracic spine into extension. That head action, that's key. That's going to help a ton for Urdhva Dhanurasana. Okay, then release that and stretch back into down dog. And change sides. Left shin up. Now remember, folks at home, don't torture your knee to do this just because you see Jessica doing it. If it's bugging your knee, do one of the ones that I showed instead. All right, so once you feel like you got yourself in a good position, feel the action of the right leg. The thigh turns into neutral. The leg is elongating, reaching back through the big toe, and then start to move the middle of the buttock in and down. And as you do that, scoop from the front of your right pelvis, like there's a line from the inner hip all the way up to your chest. Grow that. The shoulders and then the head start to participate. Good, and then stretch back into downward facing dog. Make your way to seated. Sit with your legs stretched out in front of you. Come back into the Dandasana. Use your hands to propel the spine upward, then bring your right knee in towards you and twist to your left. Remember the beginning of class when we had the down leg thigh and you're descending the thigh and reaching through the foot? That was cool. Release that and change sides. That should be like the bottom leg in this one. Hug your left knee in towards you and twist. Imagine that I was sitting on your right thigh for you. As you feel the right thigh release down, the hip crease release down. Can you grow up taller? All right, then come back to center. Stretch your left leg out. Cross your legs in front of you and step back into down dog again. So now that we have that awareness of how to open up the hip flexor even better that we learned from up dog, let's come into a couple of standing twists. So step your right foot for crescent again. Actually, you know what, let's lower the back knee so you can access this a little bit better. So with your left leg, I want you to work the left leg just like we did in the up dog situation and in the pigeon. Raise your arms up, but feel that the buttock is helping you to get stretched through the front of the left hip and to stabilize the pelvis. Then from here, with your right hand on your hip, hook your left elbow to your knee. And as you press the elbow down into the knee, lift your heart away from your hip. Then join your palms together as you press your index finger knuckles, lift and spread your collarbones, curl your back toes under, and lift the back thigh up. So we don't want this back leg hanging lazy, because if the back leg is lazy, the spine will be dull. So get this back leg to start to activate. The thigh lifts all the way up. Then start to move the buttock and lift up your heart away from your hip. Spread the collarbones, elbows. Then from here, place your right hand onto your hip, left hand down, a foot in front of your foot, whatever you like, block or floor. Lean into your right foot and raise your back leg up. Come into twisted half moon. Then lower your right hand down, raise your back leg up, standing splits. Lower your left leg to meet your right leg, fold forward. Then come all the way up to stand. Mountain pose. Shift the weight over into your left foot, bring your right knee up. Then place your left hand on your hip and hold there with your hand on your knee, or reach down on the inside of the knee and take the big toe, Utthita Hasta. Now, whichever one you're doing, I want you to feel that energy like you're hugging the block again. And as your left inner thigh releases back, feel the pubic bone can release down now, so the pelvis is in neutral, your butt's not tucked under. Then lift up tall up over the front of your left ankle, and change hands and twist. Open up to your right. Now I want you to notice how Jessica is prioritizing the standing leg and the spine length, and she's got a little bend in the right leg. I'd rather you have that than pushing your right leg straight and being tucked under. Then turn your chest forward and raise your arms up. Get that left leg and spine tall again, and then see if you can push the right leg straight now. Bring your hands to prayer position. Tip into warrior three. Hold there, get the hips level, that right buttock turns on, and then step back into crescent. Raise your arms up. Bring your hands to prayer. Lower your back knee down to the floor. Good. Then we're in the starting position, same as we were on the other side. Raise your arms up, and then feel as you reach down through the right shin, this lift and space up through the front of the pelvis, left hand up to your hip, and then hook your right elbow to your knee. As you press the elbow down, lift your heart, spread your collarbones, join palms. Then curl your back toes under and start to lift the back leg up without the left hip kicking out to the side. So as you press down in between your right big toe mound and second toe mound, you feel the thigh lift first. That's important. We got to get the back leg line. Then start to move the buttock without tucking. The pubic bone and the tailbone reach back evenly, but just firming the buttock will help you to create lift up through the front of the spine. Then place your left hand onto your hip. Right hand goes down, a foot in front. Open up your heart and turn your chest again. Then lean into your foot. Keep that left hip on a track with the ankle. Good. And come up into twisted half moon as you're ready. So feel again like you're squeezing the block with the thighs. Move the right buttock out of your back. Scoop up your belly. Now lift and turn your chest. Feel your pelvic roots, your pubic bone, your tail, they're reaching back evenly. Then bring your left hand down, standing splits. Raise your right leg. And lower your right leg to meet your left. Uttanasana, fold forward. As you hold here in Uttanasana, open up through the four corners of your feet, your big toe mound, your little toe mound. Feel the heel descend evenly. Feel the back of your spine start to open up, especially near the upper back. And then come all the way up to stand. Good. For mountain, bring your right hand onto your hip and bring your left knee up. Hold with the hand on the knee or reach down on the inside of the knee and take your big toe. But whichever one you're doing, let's see if you get that mountain pose line again. From your right leg up through your spine. Good. Then change hands and twist. Open up to your left. Make sure that your right thigh isn't sinking forward. Draw from the skin above the knee, up into your hip. Feel that lift up through your chest. Then turn your heart forward. Raise your arms up. And then without your butt tucking under, see if you can straighten that left knee out. Bring your hands to prayer. Tip back into warrior three. Keep your hip bones level. Try not to let them twist open to the left. Then bend your right knee and step back into crescent. Bring hands to prayer and lower your back knee down to the floor. Then bring your hands onto some blocks. We're going to go up in the high lunge to start. Okay, I like this high lunge because you can start to get the stretch through the front of the hip as you translate the pelvis forward. So as your pelvis starts to move towards your right heel, you can keep the lift, the upright pigeon action to the left leg. So this is probably a little bit even mellower than the pigeon. Maybe we should start with this one, but yeah, you figure it out. If the pigeon one wasn't working for you, this can be a good alternative to work in when you watch the video next time. Okay, then from here, let's see if you could come up out of the pose a little. So bring your pelvis back and then bend your left knee and reach back with your opposite hand for your foot. Okay, good. Now in this one, as you press down from above the knee down into the floor, you can stay in this upright variation, or you can turn the block down and go down. Practice whatever helps you to get into the stretch. So some are fans of staying upright because you get better up into the hip flexor. Others like coming down low because I feel like you get into the quad a little bit better. So wherever you feel the tension, if you're upright and you're like, I don't feel nothing, then try this one. Figure it out, all right? Then hold there for a couple of breaths. And then release that one and come into the half splits, Ardha Hanuman. Bring your hips back over top of your knee. And then start to slide the foot forward with the foot dorsiflexed. Now focus on your right big toe mount. Imagine that your right big toe was pressed up against the wall, and as you reach into that space between the big toe mount, second toe mount, draw an imaginary line up from there, up towards your hip crease. And draw your hip crease deeper, but keep reaching through that big toe mount line. Then, keeping that activity in the front leg, you're welcome to start to scoot the left knee back further if you like to work on the full splits. But what's going to happen is, depending on how tight this is, the psoas, the iliopsoas, it will start to pull at your lower back. So if when you start to stretch that leg far back, you can feel like a deep pull and it starts to go into your back, that means that you're scooting your knee back too quickly for your body. But some of you guys, you might be able to slide that knee all the way back, keep the integrity through this leg, and keep the lift through the spine, and you'd be totally fine. So go to where you feel the barrier, be there and breathe. Often in yoga we get in trouble because we see something, we're like, oh, I'm gonna do that no matter what. Have the idea in mind, this is where I'm gonna move towards, I would like to be able to do the splits or something, but I'm gonna see what my body can do. And then release that. Stretch back into downward dog. Then step your left foot up by your thumb. Lower your back knee down. Inhale your arms up. Bring your hands back down onto the blocks. And then we'll start to work that upright lunge, the high lunge. So in this one, you start to let the pelvis translate forward, but while creating length at the same time from the front of the right hip. So I've showed you guys this before, but just so you can get a visual illustration of the muscle that we're talking about, it attaches from here, the lesser trochanter, the inside of the thigh, and goes, if this was the muscle, it goes up into the side of your spine. So this is the psoas. And when this thing gets chronically short from sitting, all the sitting that we do, when we come into yoga, you're like, all right, I'm ready to do back bends, but this thing's super tight. It's like, I'm not ready to do back bends. I'm still like this. I'm pulling you under like that. So we got to get this thing to start to stretch. Okay, from here, you could stay here or reach back with your hand for your foot. So Jessica and I were talking about how one of the things that we feel in our practice is that when we really get our legs warmed up, that it helps us most for advanced back bends. Like sure, like we can do some stuff for the shoulders and opening the chest, whatever, but most of our biggest muscles in our body are here in our legs. And if we can get the glutes and the quads to start to open up and get warm, and then eventually up into the psoas, this is really the keys to getting the spine to move in the back bends, is what I've found, and I think Jessica too. Release that foot and come into the half splits. All right, so as you find the half split position, let's work on that front leg again. So feel like you're reaching the big toe mound, the space between the big toe mound, second toe mound. And then from there, draw a line up the inner seam of the leg all the way up into your hip socket. And as you draw the thigh bone deeper into the hip socket, feel the energetic lift that comes through your spine. And then see if you can start to inch your right knee back further if it's appropriate for you. Keep the integrity through that front leg. Don't let it turn off. Don't let the spine turn off. You might be able to go onto lower blocks, take the knee even further back, whatever works for you. Let's hold there for 5 breaths. Then release that and stretch back into downward dog. Inhale into plank pose. Come into plank on your forearm, so one elbow down and then the other. Roll onto the outside edge of your left foot and take your right arm up, Vashisthasana. So speaking of the legs, let's plug up those energy leaks with the legs. As you press your left outer foot down, squeeze in with your legs, like when you're holding the block at the beginning. Feel the groins release back and then start to turn on the glutes. Feel the power come up the spine so that the heart can open, the spine elongates. And as you press into your left forearm, lift up on the front inner shoulder. Slowly with control, change sides. Right elbow down and left arm up. Press down through the foot, engage the legs, and as you press into the right forearm, lift up on the front of the shoulder and feel the back of the shoulder turn on. Then slowly with control, bring your left elbow back down. Hold there. Lift up and spread the collarbones. Good. Now, keeping the collarbones open, tuck up your belly, bring your right knee up towards your right elbow armpit. Change sides. Left knee up. Change sides. Change sides, stabilizing your core, keep your blades on your back. Change sides. Change sides. I'm just torturing Jessica now. I'm seeing what she could do. Walk into down dog on your forearms. Last 5 breaths. Here we go. Press those forearms down. Spin your inner armpits forward. And then that same instruction we're working on in the down dog. Lift the heels up a little bit and then plug the fronts of the thighs up, up. Lift those suckers. Walk back into plank on your forearms and hold here for the last 5, 4, 3, 2. Slowly lower your pubic bone down. Dude, you crushed that. Was that hard at all for you? Okay. Start to the psoas. Remember the psoas. So as your groins release up to the ceiling, move the buttocks towards the heels and then stretch. Feel that stretch come up into your chest. Now, if you're tighter and you feel your back is like taking the burden of it, that's a sign that the psoas is too tight. You got to take the elbows forward a little bit so you're not as high in the back extension. All right, then release that. And let's practice Pincha Mayurasana. I think the last time we were here, we worked on Pincha Mayurasana too. Okay, that's a good one. So we're gonna take the mat over to the wall. This is a great pose for people who would like to invert, but have some situations with the neck going on. So it's safer for your neck because your head isn't on the ground. So we're going to take a block over to the wall, and we're going to work on the rotation of the arms. So different ways to do this. You can strap the arms to help to educate the arms. You can do it without the strap. Let's just for old time's sake, we'll use a strap because this is a great way to educate your upper arms. So we'll take this strap. Oh, you have to adjust that. I adjusted it for me. That's not quite the same. Okay, so take that strap just above your elbows and then hold your elbows out in front of you like you're doing pincha. Okay, so the aim of the strap is not to just keep your elbows in. It will do that, but the aim of the strap is to teach you to rotate your arms, to be able to spin the biceps into the strap and turn the triceps in towards each other. Okay, so now that you got your strap on, or at least that idea of having a strap on your arms, put your hands down and frame the block. These are important props to have. If you don't have a strap, a block, foam roller, we like all that stuff. Okay, so keep the rotation of your arms, then curl your toes, lift your knees, hips up. Now, the idea with this is what you gain from the base, from the foundation, you're not allowed to lose. So as soon as you feel yourself lose the even press of the forearms or the rotation of the arms, don't just stay with it. Come back down and work on the step that you're on. So this is step 1, just holding here. Step 2, take your right leg up. Now if that's going well, you still have the rotation of the arms, that's fine. You might be able to try step 3, but before that, step 2 has another step, you have to change legs. I'm gonna make it even. Good, now as that leg goes up, just like Jessica's doing, make sure the back muscles are turned on, collarbones are broad, the shoulders are rotated. And then lower that knee down and set both knees down, take a breather. All right, so step 1 went well, step 2 went well, and you'd like to try kicking up, we'll practice that now. So start to walk your legs in as close as you can, and then one leg at a time, swing up and over to the wall. Good. As you press down into your roots, rotate the shoulders, feel the blades lift out of the ears, and then squeeze those legs like when you're holding the block. Turn the thighs and try to lift up higher. Good. Then slowly, with control, come back down and rest in child's pose. Okay, then while we're here with the strap, let's get a twofer. Stand up and take your legs wide apart. Take that strap behind your back, so you gotta take the arms out, and take it across your wrists, forearms. Bottom of the forearm, wrist situation. Okay, now roll your shoulder heads open, feel your back muscles activate, and then start to tip forward halfway. Hold there for a moment, and then fold all the way. Feel the soles of the feet open and the toes spread, and then see if you can start to take those arms further overhead, almost like you're going to bring them towards the floor. Then release the strap and set your fingertips down onto the mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold deeper, walk the hands back, let the head drop down. Then inhale up into a flat back. Bring your hands to your hips and come up to stand. Bring your feet together. Now measure yourself a leg's distance away from the wall. Then bring your leg back down, turn around, and put your hands right to the sides of your feet, right in line with your toe tips. And then step your feet back to the wall for a mini down dog. Bring your heels back to the baseboard. Oops. I think they're a little close. Maybe bring the heel of the hand, to where the toe. Okay, good. Now as you press into your hands, look in between your hands, and then start to rotate your shoulders. So feel the lift of the inner shoulder action. Then step one leg up at the wall at hip height. Pause there, and then step the other up. Good. Now press into your hands, stretch from your outer arms, reach the outer shoulder blades into the hands, and pull your hips up high. Hold here for 5 breaths. Handstand prep. Let the back of the neck release, then bring your feet back down, and take Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Handstand prep, obviously a great way to build the strength for handstand, and it's actually harder than holding a handstand to hold a handstand prep, so you get that going for you. You build a lot of strength doing the handstand prep. And come back up to stand. All right, let's come back to the middle of the room now. Oh no, before we do that, let's do that stretch at the wall. So this is like puppy dog stretch or shower stretch or something you could call this one. So you take your hands out at the wall and then start to walk your feet back into the middle of the room. Okay, so when we practice down dog, because we're doing so much in the vinyasa, we're really focused on trying to rotate and almost like lift up out of the dog, so we're activating our muscles, and so that we don't have the potential to injure the shoulder. Now, when you've removed the weight of the whole body off the hands and you're just working on stretching, you can go deeper and stretch into your shoulder safely without having to worry about tearing it. But still, I want you to be conscious of feeling the muscular limitation where your muscle stops and then you sink into the joint of the shoulder. So having said that, as you reach into your hands, start to stretch your hips back towards the middle of the room. And in this one, you can let your heart sink a little bit more towards the floor than you normally would want to do in a downward dog. We've gone over this before. This is nothing new to you guys. I remember we did that? We did the pushing in and then leaning in. Did I post that one? I don't know. Okay, come back up and then come back to your mat. And let's work on a supported Virasana. So come into Virasana, we'll work on a supported Supta Virasana. This is my hands down favorite one to get into to help with Urdhva Dhanurasana. Okay, so Jessica's gonna sit back in Virasana, and then we're gonna find, do you like a tall one in your upper back or a medium one?
Medium.
Okay, so we're gonna take this block into the upper back, and then she's gonna have the Supta Virasana thrown here. So for me, because I'm not as open in this hip flexor area, I like the tall height of the block. It helps me to get more stretch to the front of the hip so that my thigh can release down like this. If I try to go onto the medium one like Jessica is doing, my knees start to lift up because I'm too tight in my hips. So find the one that works for you. Both of these might not even be an option. You might just be on the one where you walk the hands back, like I show, with the knees down, hands back, where you're elevated even more. Whichever one you're doing, we'll just spend a few breaths there. And keep making the mind-body connection into your psoas, so you're drawing space up through the front of the pelvis, the buttocks is moving towards the backs of the knees. And then take your arms up to the ceiling. If you're on the blocks and everything feels good, grab a hold of opposite elbows and start to take the arms back overhead. Then bring your arms back up. And now take the arms straight back like handstand arms. Pretend like you're pushing the wall away from you. Then bring your arms back up. And bring your hands down at your side and come all the way back upright. Okay, now sit in Virasana. If you need a block underneath your butt, or if you can sit comfortably flat, that's fine. Slide your right hand behind your back from under and take your left arm straight up to the ceiling. As you hold your arm up, rotate it externally and let the scapula spread. Then bend your elbow, slide your hands towards each other. If you can bind with your fingers, you can pull the fingers in opposite directions, or you can also hold a strap behind your back, pull the strap in opposite directions. And release that. Change sides. And release that. Then lie down onto your belly. Bend your knees and see if you can reach back with your hands for your feet if they're right there. Now, once you get the feet, move the buttocks, engage the buttocks towards the backs of the knees. Not as much as when you're on your back, of course, at the beginning, but just enough so you can get the lift and extension through the front of the pelvis. Then start to roll your heart forward, and then start to reach the shins back and up. And that's what's going to take you deeper into the back bend. Think of like a bow and arrow, like you're pulling the bowstring back, and then you get a deeper bend in the bow staff. Now hold there for 3 breaths. Breathe all the way down to the bottom of your lungs. Create more space and opening where there isn't. And lower yourself back down. Good. Rest one cheek on the mat. And then the other. And then working off what we were working on in the beginning, we're going to come up onto these medium-sized blocks to elevate the hands, and this is going to help us to get deeper into the up dog. All right, so with your hands on the blocks, you'll roll yourself up, and then, there you go. And then you can start to bring the pelvis forward more if needed to get into it. If you're in a good position there, as you press into the inner hand, get the shoulders to roll up and back into position. And now really feel this stretch through the front of the leg. Move the buttocks as the thighs squeeze in, move the buttocks towards the heels, and now stretch up through the front of the hips, up into your chest. And visualize the skin of the chest rolling up and over, and then press the back of the skull back to get into the upper back. And then stretch back into down dog. Great job. Then set your knees down onto the mat for Ustrasana, or Ustrasana preparation. With your hands on your hips, start to roll your heart up towards the ceiling. And then back bend in your upper back. Hold there for 5 breaths, or bring your hands onto your feet. And then guess what? It's that same action through the legs. Exactly the same thing that you're practicing in up dog. Same thing as in bow pose. Press into your shins, engage the glutes towards the backs of the knees, and then stretch up through the front of the pelvis. Roll that chest open. And then come back up and sit back on your heels. So one of my teachers, Paul Cabanese, used to say that the secret to back bending was to get the extra juice for the back bend, the extra little range of motion that you're looking for is going to come from the front of your pelvis. We're giving away all the secrets today. Okay, so from here, now let's practice just this one other action that I want you to have down for Urdhva Dhanurasana. So lie down onto your back, and if you've ever seen the classic variation of fish pose, like from Ashtanga, where you come up onto the crown of the head and then push the elbows down, we're going to do that one. So you're actually going to use the press of your head. If you've got a neck issue, be careful with this one. So you come up onto the crown of the head, and then as you press the crown of the head, create space through the neck, and then see if that can help you to move your upper spine in better. Use the press of the head to move the thoracic spine. And then push your elbows down, untuck your head, and lower it down. Okay, so I just want you to have that connection. When you push the crown of your head, you can move your spine a little bit better. Cool. Back to the wall. All right, so we've done all the good things for the shoulders, for the hips. Now lie down onto your back with your head close to the wall. Which one helps you with the hands? Over the blocks, on the baseboard, blocks slanted?
I like over the blocks.
Over the blocks, like with them like this or like that?
Like on the medium.
On the medium,
Or
okay.
The low, sorry.
On the low. Yours is stuck. Okay, there you go. All right, so we're gonna do this variation with the blocks because Jessica likes it. Because my shoulders are tight, if I go up on the medium block, it helps me get a little bit better. But Jessica's got pretty open shoulders. She likes that on the low height. Okay, but the first thing, just with your arms at your side, let's just work on getting reconnecting with the legs. So as you push down even into your feet, her toes are pointing straight ahead, knees are pointing straight ahead. She's gonna lift the hips up into bridge, but you have to make the connection that the legs are holding the block feeling again. That's really important. If you need to add the block to reconnect, fine. Now from here, press those shoulder heads down, activate your back muscles. Then put your hands, heel of the hand on the block, the fingers drape off. Then can you start to turn your elbows in and point your elbows straight back? If that's all going really well for you, then you can go to the next step. If not, you just work on the foundation, getting the elbows to turn in, keeping the neck free. The next step, we're gonna lift up onto the crown of the head. And then hold there, press through the crown of the head to mobilize the upper spine, and then release, come back down. Good. Set yourself up again. If you felt like you were too close to the wall, then you can scoot a little away. Too far away from the wall, you get it. Okay, so set yourself up, put your hands back into that position. Press down into your feet, lift your hips up. Now turn the elbows in like you had that strap across them, turning the triceps in. But as you do that, I want you to feel that the inner arm releases into the socket so your traps spread. Then press into your hands and your feet, especially use the legs, lift up onto the crown again. Pause there, turn the elbows in, reach into your hands, and then press into your hands and your feet and lift up. Don't force it. Just come up enough to where you feel the sensation, the stretch, be there and breathe. Press down even through your feet, like you're squeezing into the block with your legs. Good. And then slowly lower yourself back down. Take a breath. Great job. Okay, so one of the things you noticed that Jessica was doing really well, and I even gave her a little adjustment to help with it, she kept the legs active. Now, when you go up, the feet will want to fly out like this, and the thighs will want to spin out, and the butt squeeze in and tuck to cheat you into it. Instead, I want you to really focus on keeping the thighs in that neutral rotation, but then squeezing the butt to help to bring you up. So it's that same work of what we were doing. Let's do it again, because the best way to get deeper into Urdhva Dhanurasana is to keep going. So let's go up again as you're ready. Practice, get up on the head first. Make the feet hand connection, and then come up from there. Feel the rotation of the shoulders as you press into the inner hand, press the inner feet. Now engage those glutes, and as you engage the glutes, can you stretch up through the front of the pelvis, like Paul was teaching, and open up the chest, and then start to move the chest towards the wall. Like you're gonna reach the chest, but then press into the feet at the same time, like someone's pulling your hips in the other direction. And then lower yourself back down. Nice. Okay, we're gonna try, nice. We're gonna try it one more time, but this time I just want you to see this one, because if I could give you a physical adjustment at home, this would be the best adjustment I could give you. Now there's also, do you ever do it with the blocks under the feet? Mm-hmm. Is it better or worse for you?
It's just different.
It's just different. Okay, there's another variation where you put the blocks under the feet, which you could try at home. You just take the blocks keep the blocks at the wall, but you turn them so that they're feet length, and you go up with your feet on the blocks. Let's try it so they can see it. So on this one, you can kind of like take your toes up the baseboard, up the wall, if you have feet that are longer than the size of the block. Or you can just go right up onto them if you don't have the long feet. All right, so scoot your buttock in enough. Often it'll feel like you have to scoot a little closer than you would. And then as you position your feet, go ahead, lift up onto the head for a breath, get that thoracic extension, and then come up. Oh, this one works pretty good for you. Okay, so here is the adjustment. I put one hand just at the top of the buttock area, the other hand right here at the thoracic, the base of the bra line. And then I'm just going to create lift and spread. I move these away from each other. And slowly come back down. Nice job. So the way that you do that is by activating the backs of your legs. That will help to move the buttock that way, and then actively reaching your chest in the other direction. It's best if you can have someone push on you. That's the best way to feel it. Okay, so let's so one other one. Oh, do you got one more in you, do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's ready. Okay, we're gonna try one more, and we're gonna try to take a leg up while you're in the Urdhva Dhanurasana. Okay, so we're gonna have to use all that squeezing in action. So go up into Urdhva. Good. And then hugging with your legs, bring one leg up into tabletop. And then see if you can stretch it straight up. And release. Good. Bring the other leg up into tabletop. And then straight up. Good. Back down. Then lower the crown of the head back down onto the floor. And one hand at a time, bring the hands behind the head. Good. And then start to stretch the legs. Bring the hands back into Urdhva position. And then untuck your head and release. Oh my gosh. Open up your elbows out at the side. Cross your right knee over your left knee. Shift your hips over to the right a little and let your knees twist over to the left. So that last one, that's called Dvipada Viparita Dandasana, where you bring the hands behind the head. If you want to do an extra round of that, you just, after you come up into Urdhva, you lower the head back down, set up the hands, and then go back up. Then bring your knees, hips back to center. Change the cross of your legs. Hips over to the left, knees over to the right. Then come back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. Take happy baby. And then come up to seated. Sit with your legs stretched out in front of you in Dandasana. Then bend your right knee off to the side for Janu Sirsasana and stretch out over your left leg. So let the thigh bones release towards the floor. And then wherever you're at in your forward fold, let's do that flat back action. As you inhale, come up into the flat back, scoop the navel up the front of the spine. And then as you exhale, see if you can take that energy and go even deeper. Inhale back up. Change sides. Stretch your right leg out as you bend your left knee back. And then start to reach out over your leg. But find that both thighs, the hip creases, they're releasing down and away from each other. Then as you inhale, scoop up from your navel, find the flat back. And as you exhale, see if you can take that energy, go even deeper. And inhale back up. Stretch both legs forward and fold forward. And then lie down on your back with your shoulders about 12 inches away from the wall. So scoot yourself that way some more. A little more. A little more. A little more than 12 inches, I guess. That's like maybe 18. Okay, then from here, we're gonna practice the preparation for plow pose. So with your hands at your side, bring your legs up and over to the wall. So this is kind of like a hybrid between plow and shoulder stand at first. All right, so as you hold here, you can have a little bend in the knees, and Jessica's able to walk her feet pretty low, but pretend like you're like a stiffy, like walk your feet up higher. There you go, and bend your knees a little more, and then just start to work your hips up. Okay, so this is a great way to work on plow, to start to get the hips to come up over the, are you too close? It's tricky.
Yeah.
Okay, come back down. Now try scooting yourself a little away from the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. If you're not a stiffy and you're too close to the wall, then it's gonna suck because you're used to being in a certain position. Okay, so find the spot where you feel like you can start to lift your hips up over your shoulders and extend your legs, and then start to open up your feet into the wall. Make sure that the chin isn't tucked, but the chin's level to the floor. And then imagine those hip creases being lifted up towards the ceiling. And slowly release. Roll yourself out. And come into Shavasana. Let your palms turn up, let your feet fall open. Take a deep breath into your nose, fill your lungs from the bottom all the way up to the top. Pause at the top and let a third of the air out. Let another third out. Let all the air out. One more time. Deep breath in. Let a third out. Let another third out. Let all the air out. Then let go of the breath control. And feel in your body all the energy channels that you opened up. How much more space there is in connection to the flow of energy in the body. How much more the nerve channels feel cleansed and open. Especially through the back bending. The back bending is very energizing for the body. And when done well, this should be this feeling of an increased connection to the flow of energy, but a calm sensation. So you feel the energy in the body, but it's not like you just drank a cup of coffee feeling. It's a more grounded and cooling. Then take a slightly fuller, deeper breath in and out through your nose. Bend your knees. And roll over to your right side. Press yourself up to seated. Bring your palms together. Thank you. Namaste. Hey, so thanks so much for joining us today. I hope that you enjoyed this practice, and thank you for your feedback. A lot of you guys have been mentioning that you wanted to start to explore deeper back bends, more advanced back bends. So this is your foundation for all of your advanced back bends. You can start to integrate this stuff, like if you want to do scorpions and all that from handstand, that's all from these actions that we practice here. If you have any questions, as usual, let me know on the community board and Facebook. And let's see, watch out for the back bend series where we're going to integrate, break it down a little bit more. If you're excited about that, let me know too. Thank you so much to Jessica for coming out. And you could tell that Jessica has a beautiful practice. She puts a lot of energy into her studies in yoga. And also, if you are local in California and you're ever in need of corporate yoga, Jessica's a great person to contact for that or private sessions. You can hit her up on the Instagram, which I mentioned on YouTube, but her Instagram is @rootandreach. Check her out on there. Thanks so much for watching today, guys, and I'll see you next time.